So John, why Hope's End?
So Hope's End signified a time in our lives, right when we got engaged, was also the time when we found our first boat. It signified a time in our life where we stopped hoping for what could be. We stopped hoping for what the future could be and decided to live for the journey ahead. Where do we begin? From the beginning?
Hi, I'm Becca.
And I'm John.
This is Luna.
And this is Hope's End. 2 years ago, we had this crazy idea to sell everything and live on the boat.
Flash forward 2.5 years later, where are we?
We're here on a sailboat, but a different one.
Different one.
We started off our plan restoring a 1974 Hunter 25 that was originally Becca's.
Dad's. It was the boat that I grew up with, the boat that I pretty much learned how to sail on, and my dad had sold 15 years ago now, and we found it in a very bad state.
We spent the next 6 or 7 months restoring that, a lot of fiberglass, a lot of itching, and got it into the water.
Lots of epoxy.
Lots of epoxy. Then we upgraded to our second boat, which was a Daler Optima 101.
We had that boat for 2 years. It was a 1984. It was an IOR racer cruiser boat, not meant for living aboard, although it fit our needs for the summer where we were trying to put together our plan and spending every weekend out there. It was not good for long term.
Although that was a good boat for racing and cruising, it wasn't quite good for live aboard. We knew that going into this and sold our condo anyways and moved aboard that.
And we were going to take our boat out the Erie Canal, down the Hudson River, and eventually to Annapolis, Maryland,
where we'd hopefully find a bigger boat. With Annapolis, Maryland being the farthest goal that we had put forth in front of us to get to, which we are here now. However, we ended up finding a boat already on the East Coast and decided, let's purchase it, pack up all our belongings. We sold the Daler, drive to the East Coast, and moved on to our new boat.
It is a Beneteau-Cyclades 433. It's a 2006. Was in charter. A little rough, but not bad. Exactly the boat that we need. We both still work full time. That's how we fund this. We wanted a boat that we could easily live on and a boat that we could have some room to fix up and do what we wanted with our DIY background. Also, let's not get into insurance and loans. We drove all the way out from Ohio to Long Island, specifically Oyster Bay. We lived in Oyster Bay for about a month. That's where they had a mooring ball. That's where we spent our time. We got to know some really good people. But then eventually it was time to make our way down here to Annapolis, because Annapolis has been our goal for the past 2.5 years.
We left Oyster Bay after we did a bunch of refit to the boat to make it fitting for us to cruise. We added solar,
A lot of Victron stuff.
a lot of fuses and disconnect switches.
Found out our water heater works.
And we did do some test sails, test motorings before we were comfortable with it, which didn't take too long. And we set off. Our first destination was Port Washington. From Port Washington, we went through
Hell's Gate.
to New York City, saw a lovely play on Broadway, continued to go south to Cape May with a little risky pit stop in Manasquan.
I'd say somewhat intentional, but maybe we should look at the weather just a little bit more before our first time in the Atlantic.
We learned quite quick to not overestimate the weather in the ocean, and it was a good learning experience for the rest of our trip.
We feel a lot more confident in our boat now.
We stopped at Cape May and continued on up to the C&D Canal, which was closed at the time we were about to go through, so we anchored out for one day in Reedy Point, Reedy Island. And the next day continued non-stop from Reedy Island all the way to Annapolis for the sailboat boat show, which is our current location.
Now, the interesting thing about our plan is everybody asked what our plan always was, and we said Annapolis for the boat show. Where are you going after that? We don't know. Well, today is Monday after the boat show, and we still don't know where we're going.
Still don't know. This was our end goal. This was our end goal to get here, and we were just happy to be here if we got here. So we have two choices. It's cold, and we can either pull our boat out and go home for the winter, which is home is
Ohio.
nowhere,
Well,
because our boat is our home,
that's true.
and live with relatives, or we can keep going.
Get to warmer climates.
And that would probably be south to warmer
Yes.
climates. So that is where we're headed. That is where we will take you. Hopefully we will film enough to show you our crazy adventures. Hopefully not our stupidity, but we'll probably show you
little bit of that.
We'll show you it anyways.
Some DIY project.
And overall shenanigans.
And most importantly, sailing. So in order to bring you back up to speed, let's take you back to 2 months ago where our new adventure started.
The broker office is closed. We don't have the number to the owner. We bought the boat. We have signed contracts. We purchased the boat. We paid for the boat. We drove all the way out to the boat with all our worldly possessions, and it's locked. We can't get in.